This is Matthew Cratter from Bitcoin University. Today I want to answer the question, does Vitalik hate the environment? This is Vitalik Buterin, of course, the guy in pajamas who's also the founder of Ethereum. I think it's difficult to overstate the impact of crypto scammers on the environment sometimes. You have to remember that these are not the kind of people who hop on Spirit Airlines when they're fleeing from authorities, probably because they don't want to be charged excessive baggage fees for all of their gaudy toys, like Richard Hart, for example. Crypto scammers' preferred means of transport is, of course, a private jet, paid for by retail investor noobs who made these scammers rich by buying their tokens, whether it was Do Kwon and his private jet, the founders of Three Arrows Capital, Suzu and Kyle Davis, and their private jet where they got detained. And then, of course, there's Charles Hoskinson, whose private jet tops Mark Zuckerberg and Kardashians in terms of private jet pollution. This is the guy who supposedly really loves the environment. Not only is Charles's jet really bad for the environment, but his crappy token, Cardano ADA, is really, really bad for your portfolio. This is a chart of it since late 2021 against Bitcoin. It's been a complete disaster for people who held Cardano instead of Bitcoin. If you're enjoying this video so far, I just ask you to please hit the subscribe button. That really helps out the channel. Hit the like, comment, and share buttons. Now we come to the mother of all scams, of course, which is Ethereum, brought to you by Vitalik Buterin, weirdo and public defender of CP. In this famous tweet, which he deleted, I can easily argue that doing heroin imposes risks on others. Simple possession of child porn does not. I would not personally let my children anywhere near this man, but that's just my personal opinion. It's highly unfortunate that Vitalik's passionate love doesn't extend to the environment as well. When Vitalik moved Ethereum from proof of work to proof of stake in September of 2022, not only did he castrate the protocol, thereby setting in motion a massive collapse of ETH versus Bitcoin, where Bitcoin has been appreciating massively against ETH, but Vitalik also ensured that Ethereum was no longer able to assist with environmental cleanup and methane abatement. Here's the problem. Garbage dumps, landfill, release large amounts of methane. This is bad for the environment. It's bad for people who live nearby who breathe it in. It can cause health problems. Oil, natural gas, and coal mining operations also release large amounts of methane as byproducts. And as you already know, methane makes the weather gods really, really angry. And so you have to offer them sacrifice and libations in the form of purchasing carbon credits from bankers to atone for your sins. Methane is 80 times more harmful than carbon dioxide for 20 years after it is released, and it makes the weather gods quite angry. Fortunately, there's a better way. You take that methane, you burn it by converting it to less dangerous carbon dioxide, then you use the heat to generate electricity, and you incentivize and pay for the whole thing by hooking up some simple Bitcoin miners to the electricity. This is something you can only do with proof of work. You can't do with proof of stake. Bitcoin mining rigs are highly portable, and they can be used off-grid in this way in remote locations. No power hookups required, just a simple internet connection is all that's really needed. And unlike data centers, Bitcoin mining rigs can easily be turned off and back on whenever necessary, making them the most flexible consumer of electricity on the planet. Again, this is electricity that would already not be generated and that would be wasted. So you have to ask yourself, does Bitcoin mining quote unquote waste energy when it runs on gas that would otherwise be vented or flared and not used for anything else? So in this way, Bitcoin mining is able to offset its own emissions through methane mitigation without top-down regulation, without government subsidies. And I think that Elizabeth Warren, who thinks that Bitcoin is bad for the environment, would do well to read the Biden administration's own report on the benefits of Bitcoin mining. This was from September of 2022, implications of crypto assets in the United States. Here's the quote from this report from the Biden administration. While the EPA and the Department of the Interior have proposed new rules to reduce methane for oil and natural gas operations, crypto asset mining operations that capture vented methane to produce electricity can yield positive results for the climate. By converting the potent methane to CO2 during combustion, mining operations that replace existing methane flares would not likely affect CO2 emissions, since this methane would otherwise be flared and converted to CO2. Mining operations, though, could potentially be more reliable and more efficient at converting methane to CO2. So again, this is from the Biden administration itself, extolling the virtues of Bitcoin mining. And this is beginning to take off. Here's Nodal Power announcing a pilot project with Marathon Digital, big Bitcoin mining company, publicly traded, to mine Bitcoin from renewable landfill gas. As Daniel Batten points out in this tweet, there are a record 22 Bitcoin mining companies that mitigate methane. These are companies that stop the harmful greenhouse gas, methane, from entering our atmosphere. They are 1.2% of the network, but offset 7.3% of network emissions. Methane mitigation, another tweet of his, is, according to the UN, our strongest lever to reduce climate change. Here's the amount of emissions offset through methane mitigation currently across industries: banking, 0%, gold, steel, automotive, aluminum, construction, all 0%. Only Bitcoin has this property and enables methane mitigation. So this is why I think that Vitalik must really hate the environment, because when Vitalik moved Ethereum from proof of work to proof of stake, he ensured that Ethereum would never again be able to participate in methane mitigation. Someday the Ethereum network may be carbon neutral, but it can never become carbon negative like the Bitcoin network can. Are you paying attention, ESG funds? Because when ESG people finally figure this out, you're going to see trillions of dollars deployed into Bitcoin. Even BlackRock, the original defender of ESG, is already leading the way on this path with their ETF and their other marketing for Bitcoin. Fortunately, though, Vitalik should still be able to do some solo mining of his own. It's all in the proof of work, and Vitalik has the sticky fingers to prove it. This is a rare GIF of him mining some Ethereum back in the early days. And if you want to really torture yourself and watch a longer version of it, I'll link to this in the description notes below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the subscribe and like buttons. Hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when I publish my next video. And let me know your questions and comments in the comment section below. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.